Hello everyone. This video is going to cover NKBA Kitchen Planning Guidelines numbers 10 through 15. Let's get started. Okay, here we have Kitchen Planning Guideline number 10 about the sink placement. And they state that if a kitchen has only one sink located adjacent to, so next to, or across from the stove and the refrigerator. Okay. I truthfully can't think of a kitchen scheme that wouldn't have it next to or adjacent of the one or two of these items. So, and plus your kitchen triangle guideline is really going to force the adjacency. So the only thing I can think of is you wouldn't have these items back to back somehow. Anyway, so a very simple kitchen guideline to follow. Moving on. Here we are at Kitchen Planning Guideline 11. This one is a little more tricky, but still pretty simple to understand. And it's about the landing area next to the sink. So when you use items in the sink, maybe you're washing the dishes, maybe you're cleaning your vegetables, you need an area directly adjacent to the sink to place your items. So here's the rule. You have to include a 24-inch wide landing area to one side and an 18-inch wide landing on the other side. It doesn't matter which side they are, just one has to be at least 24 and one at least 18 before you run into some other obstruction. Okay, but there's a little more tricky part of it. I'm going to scroll down. If the countertop is not all at the same height, so if you've got multiple heights, you've got a lower and a higher countertop, and this can happen if you're using universal design and you need a lower countertop for a particular client, then your 24-inch landing zone, so your wider landing zone, has to be at the height of the sink, so it has to be at that lower height. And you've got to have at least a 3-inch on the other side. So your sink can't butt right up against the change in height. Scroll down a little bit. All right, so here we have an example right here. Here is a lower sink, and we have your 24-inch landing zone right here. We have a 3-inch gap right here, and we have an 18-inch right there. That's our another landing zone. Okay. I'm going to keep scrolling. There is one more case. Here we have a sink in a corner. Yes, you can do this, but you still have to have your landing zones. So take a look at this sink right here. We have a 24-inch landing zone over here. They don't call it out, but you got at least a 24-inch landing zone. And then you've got your 3-inch minimum right here. And then you turn the corner, and here is your other landing zone. And instead of 18, it's going to be a minimum of 21 inches, so a little bit larger. Moving on to Kitchen Planning Guideline number 12, your preparation or work area. Now this is, in the guidelines, it's separate from your landing zone, but when you're designing your kitchen, they can overlap. Okay, your landing zone can also be part of your preparation or work area. So the preparation or work area is at least 36 inches wide and 24 inches deep immediately next to the sink. So here's the illustration right here. It's 3 feet wide and it's 24 inches deep. In your access standard, there is more complicated rules for this because it needs knee space, right, and a different width. Again, we're going to cover all of these access standards later in the course. Guideline number 13 has to do with the dishwasher. The dishwasher should be close to the sink. How close? It should be within 36 inches. So take a look at this illustration here. The edge of the sink should be within 36 inches of the edge of the dishwasher. They can be at different heights, as in this illustration, or they can be at the same height. They've got one more rule here, scrolling down. If you've got a corner in your cabinets, anywhere near the dishwasher, you need at least 21 inches, and that's for somebody to stand right there and work, maybe put some dishes in there or take them out. Maybe they're standing right here taking out the dishes and putting them in these upper cabinets. Whatever it is, you need a place for somebody to stand in that area, and that's got to be at least 21 inches. One more rule under this guideline: if your sink is at an angle and then you have your dishwasher set over next to it, instead of the 3 feet from edge to edge rule, you have a 21 inch from edge to center line of the sink rule. So slightly different. Kitchen planning guideline number 14 about trash cans, waste receptacles. You've got to have at least 2 waste receptacles per the guidelines, one near each cleanup and prep sink. So if you've got more than one, you're going to have if you're going to have more than one sink, you're going to have more than 2 receptacles. So one minimum per the next to the one sink, and then a second for recycling. They can either be right next to each other or they can be in a different location. They don't say, but those are the minimum. So let's say you've got 2 cleanup sinks. Maybe you've got a large kitchen and you've got 2 sinks. You need a waste receptacle near each one of them, plus a recyclables. That would be a minimum of 3. If you've got just one sink, which is kind of your standard kitchen, you will have 1 waste receptacle and 1 recyclable. So, for example, in my kitchen, I have 4 because my city separates all our recyclables. So I've got a trash, I've got a paper recyclable, I've got a plastics and cans recyclable, and then I have a food waste. So there are 4 trash receptacles. However, my kitchen doesn't meet this planning guideline because the waste receptacles are all the way on the other side of the kitchen from my sink, and so I have to walk back and forth all the time. Pretty annoying. So you want to keep them near your prep area, near your sink. Finally, here we are at kitchen planning guideline number 16. This is about the landing area next to the refrigerator. Just like the sink, you need a place next to your refrigerator in order to take things out and set them down. All right. And where exactly and how exactly the size of this landing area depends on the type of refrigerator that you've got. So let me scroll down a little bit here. So there are 4 different requirements depending on what kind of refrigerator you have. For example, let's take a look at condition A. If you've got a regular swinging door refrigerator, just one door, your your landing area is going to be adjacent to the handle side. So you open the door and you have the landing area next to the open side of the door. It's got to be 15 inches wide. And by the way, take a look at this picture right here. Nowhere in the text does it say 16 inches deep, but the picture shows all the landing areas for this refrigerators are 16 inches deep. So 15 inches wide by 16 inches deep is your standard refrigerator landing area. If you have a side-by-side refrigerator, so they open like this, okay, you can put your landing area on either side of that refrigerator. It doesn't matter, but it still has to be the same size. Condition C, so your third condition, if there's just no way to put it next to the refrigerator, you can put it across from the refrigerator. So take a look, no more than 48 inches between, so it can't take more than a couple of steps for you to turn around and set something on this landing area across from the refrigerator. And finally, if you have an under-counter style refrigerator, then above or adjacent to that under-counter refrigerator, you need the same 15 inches wide, 16 inches deep landing area. Those are our guidelines for this week. Thank you, and see you all in class.